What's going on, people? We are back again with another video, and this one right here is all about Jasmine and Gino. Now, this topic here that they discuss, for me personally, I feel like it's a conversation that a lot of people should have more often, and I feel like a lot of people don't have this conversation. And to be fair, I feel like if people did, maybe things would open up people's eyes to possibilities and maybe start to educate themselves sooner rather than later. But also at the same time to not be so naive. But with that being said though, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and boom, bam, let's go.
I would like to have one child of my own. At least one would be nice. I'm like almost mid-50s now.
I'm not ready. I have some very personal fears when it comes to having children. I carry a lot of pain inside. You don't have no idea what I went through.
Right, before we even get into what Jasmine has been through, okay? I personally have never liked this, and I never will like this, but I hate it when people use an age as a reason to, hey, I'm almost this now. It's time to have a kid. I don't know, man. That always tickles me a bit wrong. I just feel like, hey, like, if a kid's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're both ready, you're both ready. If you're not, you're not. Putting the pressure of saying, well, I'm nearly this age, I just don't feel like that's fair sometimes, because I don't know. It makes me feel a bit uneasy, but I feel like there's a lot of, I think it's because I've experienced a lot of people who've had children at the wrong age because they felt like they had to have a child now before it's too late. And then they end up having kids, and then sometimes they end up becoming single parents, or they end up not even raising the child the way they should do, because they're like, damn, I kind of made a mistake having you now. I should have waited until later on. So I don't know, man. That reason's always a bit sticky for me. So I feel like sometimes people should really think about it long and hard. When they say that they want kids, and then they say I want kids before it's too late or whatever, I feel like you need to be 100% sure that you're with the right person and you're also in the right place mentally as well. Two key things that matter there, amongst other things that matter as well. But anyway, let's continue.
What if we have a kid and he's also special needs? We have two sons, Fiance and JC. I share custody with my ex-husband. It's very hard for him to communicate. He doesn't have a verbal language. But what makes it difficult to have a child with special needs is not the child, it's the people.
I mean, listen, let's talk about that. Let's talk about it real quick. You know, for me, myself in particular, I've experienced working with kids with autism, you know, just being on the spectrum, you know, special needs as the whole, right? And sometimes you'd have to go on school trips. And when you're on school trips, you definitely experience, you know, moments where the child that you have, that you're working with, will have moments where they, you know, they act out, and, you know, they obviously, and in that situation, yeah, the public looking at you, you know, and when people are looking at you, they're just like looking at you like as if like, what the hell's wrong with you? Get that child under control, blah, 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 blah. You know, people literally lack being sympathetic. Now, I understand that not everybody's educated on the fact that there are human beings in this world, you know, both kids and adults who are autistic or who are obviously special needs. I understand that, but I feel like there's more. I feel like we are now in an era where we are finding more and more people who have got special needs. So it does kind of blow my mind that not everybody is actually educated on this, to be honest with you. And to be fair, sometimes I feel like people are educated on it, but they just pretend as if they're not, if you ask me personally. But either way though, I know what she's talking about, the pressures. I mean, listen, I've got a friend, you know, who's a single mother, and there's times when we've gone out, you know, obviously with her child, and her child is autistic, and the child's had moments where she's had, obviously, you know, had reactions and actions to certain things, and it's not been easy, but, you know, people just want to walk by looking or whatever, and it's just like, yo, that's not nice. And to be fair with you, I feel like when people are walking by and they have their own kids, if anything, like sometimes you have kids walk past and they'll be like, hey mom, hey dad, like why is he or she doing that? I feel like at that moment in time, you know, a parent has options there. Option number one could be, don't worry, babe, like, you know, I'm pretty sure whatever's going on, her mom's got it. I mean, I say this because some people, they would say to the child, I don't know, maybe that kid's crazy, or I don't know, maybe that kid, da, da, da. And so instead of like telling your kid that maybe there's something wrong with that kid, why don't you just say to your kid, hey, like, I'm pretty sure there's a reason for it, you know, it's none of our business, let's keep it moving. Something simple, you know what I mean? Something very respectful, but people lack respect, and it's not nice, it's not kind. So yeah, but we continue.
If we go to a restaurant and he's not behaving as a neurotypical kid, you have the stares, you have the ugly looks. What if I cannot give you a neurotypical kid? I don't know, you know, it scares me to death. I don't know if
I mean, listen, I completely understand her pain, or her fear, shall I say, you know, because she's the one that's had to experience it. and going through experiences of her children. And obviously, it also depends on how severe her children are, because, you know, there's always different levels of special needs. You know what I mean? There's mild, there's high, there's, you know, it really depends. But if she's been through it and she's still going through it, of course she's going to be very anxious and cautious about having another child, because she doesn't want to go through the same thing again with another child. Because at the end of the day, you know, she knows how much, how drained it can be. She knows how much of her life it can take up. You know what I mean? She knows how much it can really, you know, mess up with you mentally. So at the end of the day, because she's in that state of mind, her reaction makes sense 100%. I think if anybody is judging her, is wrong for that, because at the end of the day, unless you've been in her position, you don't know what they were talking about. You know what I mean? And even if you've been in a position, you don't know if her position is the same as yours. You know what I mean? So yeah, it really depends on your child, right? But the main thing is that, does she love her children? That is the main thing, and that's yes. Because her goal has been to bring them to America anyway. It's not like she's neglecting them. She's just saying that I don't know if I want to have another one and then go through the same thing again. And let's not forget, Gino's 55 plus, right? If she has another child now with him, and that child ends up also, you know, being special needs or whatnot, she's gonna have to live her life by herself, raising her whole away kids. You know what I mean? Like, there's levels to these conversations that people don't think about. You know, Gino isn't going to be around forever to help her. He's obviously going to go way before her anyway, based on his age, and also based because he's a man anyway. Because men usually do go before women anyway. So that's a big responsibility on her shoulder. So she has to be considerate of herself, and 100%. And she's living in her. Well, I don't know if she's living in her prime, because if this is her prime, then hey, I'm worried, because she's crazy. But she is living in you know, yeah, you know, yeah.
He's still a human being. We're going to take care of him, right? Still a child. You know, there's no difference whether he has a disability or not. That's the way you should look at it.
That's the way you should look at it. Yeah, spoken like somebody that's never been in her position. Spoken like somebody who hasn't even had kids before, to be honest with you. It's a very easy thing for him to say. I'm not going to take that away from him. It's not a bad thing for him to say. I'm not going to take that away from him. You know, it is good, but it's not that simple. I mean, listen, generally speaking, it doesn't matter what child you have, whether you have a child that is on the spectrum or not. Having a child is something that, when you have children, nothing can prepare you, right? People always say nothing can prepare you, because having children is just whatever, innit? So it really doesn't matter what, you know, when you have a child, whether your child is on the spectrum or not. The fact is, you're going to go for a lot of challenges, you know, and that's something that obviously a lot of people are naive to. But at the same time, if you're going to have a child that could be you know, special needs, the only thing that you could do to prepare yourself is to start to learn. Go on courses are usually for free, you know, for people to go on to learn about obviously certain things about special needs and all that kind of stuff. So yes, you can do that to kind of give you a gift 100%, which would be great, you know what I mean? But of course, when it happens, it's a whole different ball game, right? But Gino, you keep being naive, bro. You keep being naive. She's trying to tell you, and all you're saying is, oh, but it's still, you're gonna be a human being, right? We're still gonna care, right? It's not about caring about the child. Of course she's going to be. It's about the responsibility that comes with having the child. Man, people don't think about these things, man. It really annoys me. That's why we live in a world where there's so many kids who come from broken homes, or so many kids that come from upbringings that are just not healthy. I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to trigger people, you know what I mean? But if you know what I mean, you know what I mean.
Nothing is your fault. Don't think it's your fault. For her, that, you know, whatever happens with us in regards to children, whether we have a child or not, I'll always be there for her no matter what, and I'm not going to abandon her. I would like to have one.
Well, listen, Gino, this isn't about abandoning her, but it's funny he says I'm not going to abandon her. Bro, you're like nearly 55, right? Or 55, whatever, right? If you have a child with Jasmine now, okay, we don't know about your health, okay? To be fair, people's health is very unpredictable, right? And I hate to be negative because I'm not being negative, I'm being realistic. What Gino doesn't understand is that, yeah, you can have a child with her today. Oh, yes, she can get pregnant. And yes, you can have a child 9 months from now or whatever, right? But understand, by that 9 months has gone by, you'll be, what, 56? Give another 4 years, maybe 10 years, who knows what's going to happen to you. Your life may just be taken away from you. And then what? Jasmine's left on her own. So he can talk about, hey, you know, I'm not going to leave you, blah, blah, blah. But the older we get, let's be real, we've got to be conscious about how long we're going to be here. You know what I mean? If you're younger, it's a different conversation. So, I mean, the only good thing that Gino said for me personally in this episode is that I'm going to be with you no matter whether we have a child or not. That's the best thing he said. Do you know what I mean? Hey, you guys let me know what you're thinking down below and we can talk about it. Peace.